So our team is a team of STEM majors, and we like to think of ourselves as analytical innovators backed by data-driven research. I'm Ben. I'm the CEO. I previously owned a independent car dealership here in Pullman called Show Day Cars, and I'm also a full stack software engineer by experience.
Hi, my name is Lucien. I'm the CFO. I'm a neuroscience biomedical business major, and I like to innovate through data analyzing. I came in third place in a DECA accounting in 2019, and I've also had an internship with Krishna Realty doing property management internship in Portland, Oregon.
Hi, judges. I'm Connor Hardesty. I'm also a neuroscience biomedical business major. I have a good amount of experience in fast-paced customer service roles, some experience in sales, and some entry-level membership management experience.
Also on our team, we have two advisors. We have Ron Dinsmore of a local credit union. He's a dealership relationship manager. And then we also have Darren Aubie, who is a senior principal consultant.
Our value proposition. Carma Pay is a secured, verified transaction platform for private car buyers and sellers seeking a safe, seamless way to complete their sales. It protects buyers from scams and delays while helping sellers earn up to 40% more than traditional dealerships. Unlike other services, Carma Pay integrates the entire buying process, including loan options, into one platform, aiming to become the first fully digital private car marketplace.
So what problem is Carma Pay after? Private party car sales are essentially broken by an outdated, highly complex process. First off, nobody really knows the process. There's a lot of confusing paperwork and back and forth, causing confusion and liability. And if you add on vehicle financing on top, most people aren't aware that you can actually buy a car private party using an auto loan, or if you still owe money on your car, you can actually sell that private party. And the process is just too complex for private party transactions. And let's be honest, people do get ripped off. Title scams, stolen cars, odometer fraud, and more. Odometer fraud alone cost American consumers $1 billion a year in losses. And people are starting to prefer digital experiences. At least 60% of car shoppers now prefer a digital experience when looking for their next car. And then how Carma Pay solves this? Carma Pay solves this via an online platform that helps people facilitate the title and payment aspect of buying or selling your car private party. And how we also help people with that is by offering financing inside of our application. So where exactly does Carma Pay fit in the private party car buying process? So you found your car and you landed on the price of the seller. And now it's time to pay up and finish the paperwork. This is where Carma Pay is going to come in and simplify that process of titling and securing a loan or helping the seller pay off the loan that's already associated with the vehicle. And now you're ready to take the keys, print your complimentary temporary license plate, and drive away.
Let's get into the market opportunity a little bit in the market space. So the used car market is a pretty large market, and it's a growing market, especially with used cars are becoming quite expensive these days. So in the US alone, there's 16.8 million private party vehicle sales. Like Ben said earlier, 60% of buyers prefer digital first experiences. And private sales are going up. So it's $1 billion opportunity. It's a large market. It's a $330 billion private party sales market. And a lot of it is online. Over 50 billion is online. It's continuing to grow. So capturing our obtainable market, we want to eventually capture 0.1% of the total U.S. market share, which is 16,800 transactions per year. And at averaging about $275 per transaction, we would bring in 4.6 million in annual revenue. And our long-term goal is to have Carma Pay be like the easy checkout for private car sales.
And our biggest competitor is the dealership. People's default behavior is that they associate anytime they need to go buy a car with financing, they go to the dealership. Or if they want to get rid of their car they still owe money on, again, they go to the dealership. And people are leaving thousands of dollars on the table and just a whole bunch of extra headache. So Carma Pay is going to approach this problem by using financing as our moat. We truly think that private party car sales can unlock an additional $120 billion of opportunity just by simplifying and reducing all the friction of financing and private party car sales. And we have one main direct competitor, They're called Key Savvy. Key Savvy is more focused on niche vehicles, and we're going to differentiate ourselves by prioritizing and making financing accessible to a broader market.
And then to get into our marketing and growth strategy, our overarching strategy is to first gain attention and traction, and then build loyalty through our customers, and then drive growth. So we want to start with utilizing the trusted voices that exist in the car buying journey. So a lot of social media influencers, lifestyle influencers. One of our an acquaintance of our CFO, Lucien, Jack Ultramotive. He's a great example of the type of influencer that we would like to use to build that initial trust, gain our customers. Ben's been very vocal and adamant about building a community around trust and education. The used car market is plagued with a lot of scams and a lot of unfortunate things. So we'd like to be that safe haven to kind of have a place that people can come to buy used cars that it's very efficient, smooth, and safe. And then to continue to grow, part of our tactics for our strategy, our growth strategy, is to strategically partner with different companies. So we'd like to partner with lending like banks and lending partners. This is how we would be able to offer our financial services and our in-app loan offers directly from the banks, just simplifying the process for everyone. We'd like to partner with estate sales services and management companies. So during our customer interviews, we found that there was a need for a place for individuals that are managing a lot of high value vehicles, especially during a wealth transfer. So if a family member passes on and vehicles are transferred, they need a way to be able to sell those vehicles or deal with them. And so partnering with financial management companies would be a really big step for us. And then we're all WSU students, so we like to leverage our status through the WSU community and the Cougs network. A couple of companies that we've looked into that are Coug-led is Freestone Capital and Brighton Jones, and would just like to contact them for some support, resources, and definitely some guidance.
Our revenue model. So we're a service-based model. So our transaction fee is $100 per party, totaling $200 per transaction. And we also have a fee for facilitating a loan payoff in order to obtain the title and sell your vehicle. A vehicle loan referral revenue is 1% to 2% of the purchase car's value, given as a referral finder's fee from our lending partner. And finally, a payment processing fee, which is 3.56% surcharge for using a credit card. Our funding strategy begins in year one by winning the business plan competition, winning $15,000 for legal registration and initial branding. In year two, with the validation from winning the BPC, we'll like to seek $140,000 from angel investors in a form of a convertible note. And this funding will be used to establish our commercial space, obtain our licenses, and our initial marketing campaign. And this marketing campaign involves our partnered YouTubers who will use funding from us to purchase a vehicle through our website in order to show the buying experience to their audience, and using referral codes to their audience to entice them to use our website. In year three, we'll focus on growing brand awareness and stabilizing our website traffic. We want to enhance the overall experience of our service as well this year. In year four, we'll be looking for a Series A funding of $750,000 in order to onboard lending partners. In order to have lending partners, we need a surplus of cash on hand in order for them to want to work with us, as this can be a risky endeavor. We will also hire key personnel for growing regionally and begin to develop our online marketplace. In year five, we hope to officially launch our marketplace, expand regional operations, and build a strong customer community with consistent returning customers. In year six, we are looking for a Series B investment of $1 million to aggressively scale advertising efforts, boost customer acquisition, and expand our marketplace offering, and prepare for our exit strategy. And we're looking either into acquisition from a larger competitor or an IPO.
And then our traction so far is we have been making connections with various credit unions and banks. And so far, ICCU, which I had mentioned at the start of the presentation, Ron Dinsmore, the dealer relationship manager there, has been working with us to really iron out the details of this business. And then we're actively designing user interfaces inside of Figma, and we've even done a little bit of app development. And our ask is we're seeking $140,000 in the form of angel investment by 2027. All right. Any questions?
I'll go ahead and start. If you could turn off your slide deck so we can see your faces, that'd be great. So my question is this. First of all, comment on your business plan. I love that you're trying to solve this problem. As someone that has lost track of how many used cars I've sold on the off market, and the stories of all the hassles of dealing with those transactions, I've forgotten how many at this point, but it certainly is a universal, almost universal problem. Question is this. One of the main revenue opportunities here clearly is the financing, and the most problematic. My guess is that one of the primary reasons that Cars.com and AutoTrader and others in this business have not solved this problem is because they haven't solved that issue. So how are you going to address the, how are you going to build these relationships with financing partners to support this platform? Because as a seller, I think that's the primary challenge is a lot of used cars owners owe money on their cars, and they have to deal with the payoff transaction and do it securely and safely. So tell me more about how you're addressing that particular challenge.
Yeah. Those other competitors you had mentioned, when I was doing my research, I've noticed that they're primarily focusing on dealerships, and they don't really put too much concern into everyday folk who are looking to buy their next car, sell their car on private party marketplaces. So I think with our focus on building trust back in the community where trust has been lost is going to resonate with a wider mass market and hopefully capture their attention.
So how do you build that trust?
Yeah, so I strongly believe that Carma Pay should become a resource hub. We should have tools and resources so people can, they just have a go-to place for resources to figure out if the deal they're doing is legitimate, if it's the right deal for them, and give them more resources to know if they should continue with that deal or where to get a better deal. Additionally, we'd like to partner with influencers because they already typically have a trusted audience, and we believe in giving. We think that through those partnerships, we can help share our resources with their audience and start gaining our own community of our own. And then you had also mentioned, what about financial partnerships, like getting those lending agreements? I had previously owned an independent car dealer here in Pullman, and banks are already willing to work with independent car dealers. One of the main things I ran into, though, is they typically don't like to work with you unless you have a couple years of, like, the business has been established for a few years, and they want to see that in the case that something goes wrong, that you can pay the bank back. And that's what we're doing here by raising funds. We want to show them that, yes, this is a validated idea. We do have the cash on hand, and we're really serious about solving this problem.
Okay, thank you. I have lots of other questions, but I'll pass to the next judge. Thank you.
Thank you.
I found the idea of working with estate planners very interesting. I had in my head, Janet Johnson died, leaving a son, a daughter, and a beautiful 2016 Highlander. But the whole idea of this and working in that space when people are dealing with huge changes and having a trusted partner to be able to help them through that process, I think is fantastic. You're going to be working with a ton of personal information, financial data. Tell us a little bit about the challenges you think you'll face as it relates to cyber.
Yeah, that's a great point. security needs to be number one. The infrastructure we're using for our servers needs to be secured and hardened. And in our budget, we've penciled in a budget to have regular security audits and also to contract out with other security professionals. And when it comes to things like verifying both buyers and sellers' identity, we plan to partner with third-party services such as Plaid, which already have trusted and scalable solutions for keeping those persons' identities safe and secure.
And one last question. Where'd the name come from? What's the genesis of the name?
Oh, Carma Pay. It doesn't have a significant meaning behind it, although I think Carma Pay is something easy and catchy to remember. I could see it as something becoming part of regular discourse, kind of like Google has become synonymous with searching. Hopefully, Carma Pay becomes synonymous with you're going to buy your next car, you need Carma Pay to pay them.
So I have another question, Renee, if we have time.
Yes.
So dealing with the car transaction, one of the riskiest parts of this, as you pointed out in your business plan, as I recall, is transferring title and securing clear title. That requires dealing with every state's Department of Vehicle and Motor Vehicles, state by state basis. Have you looked into that particular aspect within Washington State, and how do you see that being a challenge as far as scaling that nationally?
Yeah, so that is a big risk, and we have two main ways of mitigating that. Well, three really. There's a national vehicle database that licensed dealers get access to verify these titles. And in addition, like you had mentioned, each state runs their own database for these titles. So through the combination of checking on a national scale, a state level in the states we are operating in, and additionally getting a vehicle history report and just making sure the mileage and the titling dates match up with those state databases will give us a full comprehensive picture of that vehicle's title.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I had a question. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to ask further questions. Go ahead.
Just the question I had was about the flat fees, and they, I think especially with used cars, the price range of the items sold can vary really wide. And so a flat fee to me seemed high. If you're buying a used car, that's like $5,000, let's say. And so can you kind of tell me how you got to that number? And if you think like, if people seem that's a reasonable amount.
So we based that number off of Key Savvy's business model, which they charge $100 flat fee. I could see how if for a $5,000 car, it doesn't really make sense, but we're hoping that they see the value in being able to verify that your vehicle is, the odometer is accurate and all the registration is true and there's no title jumping or anything occurring. Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Pretty much it, just on like where that flat fee came from. And
it just came from our
state. Yeah, like it's reasonable.
Sorry. I had a quick follow-on question. As far as the fee, why are you charging both parties as opposed to doing like the real estate model where you just charge the seller? Seems like that would simplify your whole financial transaction.
Essentially, it could be up to both buyer or seller. In practice, this is something that the buyer and seller could work out. And sometimes there's a difference in motivation between the buyer and seller. I mean, in my personal experience, I've ran into really unmotivated sellers who, wouldn't care. And then same thing with buyers. So we think that splitting it down the middle is fair for both parties. Both parties will receive value through this transaction.
Okay, thank you.
You mentioned something there a second ago about odometer fraud. You're providing a platform for the sale and the smooth sales transaction and all of the paperwork. Heading into the fraud side of it or the odometer side of it seems perilous. What are your thoughts on that?
So it's associated because as Carma Pay, our goal is to protect both parties. We want to make sure that private party sales go down smoothly. And by tackling odometer fraud, we're reducing one less liability that can fall in their lap. And we also have the tools to do it by analyzing the mileage on the car history report and then also comparing it to what the state has. We can get an informed idea of how legitimate these odometer statements are.
So I don't have a question. It's more of feedback. When I read your business plan, I felt the energy. I know it's there. I could feel it in your written word. And I think today I didn't feel it as much. But I hear your words and I hear your story around fraud, that you've done your background and that you know your information. But maybe bringing that story to life a little might have brought more energy to your presentation. But your presentation, the slide deck, I like how you used white space. I think that makes it really impactful. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your feedback.
Oh, sorry. That's actually the time there. So thank you, Carma Pay, for your presentation and for answering the questions the judges asked. If you would go ahead and leave now, the judges will submit their scores.